Confusion abounds in the precious metals market. Some people are telling us the silver price, the gold price are set to soar, while others are casting a little cold water on the whole idea. We're going to cover it all today. We're going to listen to what the top analysts are saying, and we're going to dig in a little deeper into what will impact the silver and gold price as we head into the coming months, quarters, and years. Thank you for being here today. I want to say special thank you to all of you basement dwellers, all of your support. Again, they didn't call it RonTube, they called it YouTube for a reason. This is not possible without you, and we were able to reach 34,000 subscribers. So thank you for your support. Susie and I are very grateful for you, and we want to continue to provide you with a community and good content as we roll into much higher silver prices and gold prices. But let's dig in. We got a lot to cover today, guys. I want to remind you right now, yesterday was a little bit of a tough day for us silver and gold investors, right? Gold was down 1%, silver was down, 1.5%. But let's keep things in perspective. Gold is still above $2,150 per ounce. Silver, right? Fighting to hold on to that $24 range. I think that we're building a base. We talked about this, didn't we? We were building a base with gold above 2,000. Are we now building a base in gold above 2,100? And could it provide a platform? Are we going to go up in stair-step manner for the rest of the year? Hey, think about it. It's only March. If we go up $100 a month for the rest of the year, we'll have $3,000 gold before we know it. But let's dig into some of the interesting commentary that we're getting. Speaking with Jorge Ganoza, CEO of, there it is, Fortuna Silver Mines. He reminded me, right, that just last year, guys, in the fourth quarter, the average price for gold was around $1,990 per ounce. Again, we're sitting at $2,150 per ounce. But let's dig into a couple of these articles. People are confused. Are we in jeopardy? Is the silver and gold price in jeopardy? Let's see what the people at the Financial Times had to say. Let me pull this up for you. Hold on here. There we go. All right. Financial Times, the Financial Times, which I think, I may be wrong on this, but I think it's even more respected than the Wall Street Journal. But they're all still mainstream media financial press. But we'll listen to what they had to say, because they had an article about, oh my gosh, nobody understands why gold is doing so well. And don't forget, silver stackers, gold is of paramount importance to silver, because where gold goes, silver will follow. Silver is still a monetary metal. It's a big, massive bonus to us that silver is also an industrial metal, but silver is still a monetary metal. Let's read through this real quickly. I just have some highlights for you here, a couple paragraphs. It says, but several analysts say none of the factors that have driven gold's bull run over the past 16 months are likely catalysts for this recent rally. So again, they're confused. Why did that happen? They're basically saying that the rally that we had here over the last few weeks was not because of central bank buying, was not because Chinese households are looking for safe havens for their money. Don't forget, we had 800,000 people show up at one shopping mall just a few weeks ago in China to buy gold. 800,000 people to buy gold at one location. Furthermore, it's not because of the war in Ukraine or the Middle East, but all of those, think about it, are super supportive factors for gold nonetheless. But they're saying we can't really attribute this recent run to that. Gee, Financial Times, do you think maybe it's because gold is undervalued? Here's a quote. It has been the quietest, most confusing rally, said Nikki Shields, precious metals analyst at MKS Pop, a Swiss gold refinery and trading house. Right, they're big. That's a big operation. Quote, what took it from 2,000 last month to above 2,150 is is the head scratching part. I can just see her scratching her head. The current rally, hold on a minute. The current rally kicked off when U.S. manufacturing data, slowing U.S. economy. We know that's the reality. We know the Fed is going to have to do something. But what we're really looking at, basement dwellers, are real interest rates. So the Fed could do nothing. And we're going to talk about that more later. The Fed could never raise interest or lower interest rates again. But if inflation continues to pick up, and I'm going to show you definitively why it will, 6 or 1/2 dozen the other, however you want to say it, negative real interest rates, the price of gold can do awesome over silver, can do awesome over the next few years. It's not absolutely dependent on lowering rates. What's more important is that relationship between inflation and rates. And I think we're heading into a major period of negative real interest rates. Then it goes on to say that it's not because of the Treasury, right? Then it goes on to talk about the dollar. A lot of people are saying this as well, right? Like the dollar has actually been didn't drop. That's not the reason for this most recent issue, good issue, right? For us silver and gold enthusiasts. That gold's done well, silver holding above $24 per ounce. So everybody's scratching their head. I'm going to move on to another quick article. Here we go. We're just going to listen to what all these gurus have to say and then make up our own mind. This one came from FX Street, entitled "Goodbye Gold Price Rally. Here's what's next." Now, this is kind of a bearish article about gold, and I just want to read a couple of these highlights. Said gold reversed briefly, moving $3 above $2,200 per ounce. That's a round number, so it's important psychologically. Gold already was in the 2100s, but it was not in the 2200s. That seemed like an important milestone, and gold failed to achieve it. Silver follows gold. Gold declined after the failed attempt to move above 22. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Gold declined after the failed attempt to move above 2200 and created a bearish shooting star reversal pattern, whatever that is, a bearish shooting star. We talk about cups and handles. We talk about wedgie patterns. Those are easy for us to understand. Bearish shooting star, we'll leave that one alone. The volume was huge. This confirms the bearish implications. Oh gosh, we've got doom and gloom in the precious market of the shooting star candlestick. The shooting star reversal and huge volume are both like what we saw at the 2023 top. So we have an extremely bearish analogy here. So we're wishing upon stars for gold to go down, and silver will follow. This is interesting, though, and something that I give some weight to. The RSI, the Relative Strength Index, that's a measure of the relative strength of the move, and when it gets really high, that's usually a sign that something's been really bought, okay? And it eventually comes down, like all these averages. It's above 80. That indicates an extremely overbought situation. All 5 points are on top of what I've already wrote about gold, blah, blah, blah. So this guy doesn't like gold. Well, we don't like him. No, we listen to everybody's opinion. Your opinion matters. Yes, you. It's time for us to talk about you for a second, right? Your opinion matters. You being here matters. Greatly appreciated. Please give this a thumbs up. Super chats are super appreciated, never super expected. I don't ever want anyone to donate any money to the basement that they can't afford, okay? But they are super appreciated, so thank you in advance for that. And don't forget, all of the content is absolutely free. We're still running the New Year's special. It's free to subscribe to Ron's Basement, and what you'll get is a great sense of community, an opportunity for you to meet people if you decide to engage in the comments. But at minimum, you're going to get a new piece of content every single day, something that has to do with your favorite subject. Isn't that your favorite subject? Silver and gold. Let's move on. We do have a lot to cover today. Let's talk about Bald Guy Money. You guys know my friend, Bald Guy Money. He has a YouTube channel. He's much more technical than I am. He's very popular, growing like crazy. He's a friend of mine. I asked him this morning, I said, Bald Guy, do you have any commentary on what's going on? Let's listen to what Bald Guy said. He said, what's happening with gold? I think it's a breather that we're taking right now. So he calls this, again, guys, I'm telling you, if we can stay above 2,100 in gold, if we can stay above $23.42 in silver, we're consolidating, okay? We will see some consolidation around this level. Shake out some of the weaker holders before we take the next leg up. Central banks are not backing off on this. This is Bald Guy money. They are seriously concerned that the U.S.'s ability to repay debt without printing massive amounts of money, we're going to talk about that later, of course, one of our favorite subjects. At the same time, they want time to stack. The central banks want time to continue to buy gold at these reasonable prices and don't want to initiate a 2011 style blow off top, which will come, but they are trying to keep a lid on it for now. Play it slow and accumulate after price consolidation. Thank you, Bald Guy Money, for your input on behalf of all the basement dwellers. Guys, go check out Bald Guy Money YouTube channel. He's got some great content. Some of his videos get over 100,000 views each. Now, let's move on to our favorite person. She's trying to take over. We've got somebody trying to take over the basement. Look, when I moved into this house, I lived here before Susie and I got married for about 3 months. And the deal was any room when she moved in and we got married, which was the smartest decision I ever made to get married to Susie. We've been married 19 years. She's put up with a lot. She's wonderful. But I had to put my foot down because when she moved in, she started redecorating everything everywhere. And I said, you know what? I got news for you. You can do whatever you want, but any room with a concrete floor is mine. I can do whatever I want. So I'm responsible for all this beautiful decorating you see behind me. But now she's trying to work her way into Ron's basement. And on a serious note, we appreciate Susie's input because she provided this awesome article. Hold on here. This is great. And she even highlighted it for us. Oops, wrong article. There it is. All right. Thank you, Susie, for this. Gold. This is from Kitco. Gold is headed to $2,600. What? Wait a minute. Okay. I screwed up. Hopefully you guys can see that screen. Oops. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. Gold is headed to $2,600. That's good news. That's silver at 40. I'm telling you, maybe 50, maybe 65. What do you think? Put it in the comments. When gold hits $2,600. Now, you know this lady, she's copying off us because we talked about $2,600 gold by May. But let's just say sometime this year we get $2,600 gold. I want you to close your eyes and imagine. What do you think the silver price would be? Right now, silver's what, $24 and something per ounce? It's not just going to go up in the same proportion as gold. I got news for you. When gold goes to $2,600, we're going to have that slingshot move. We're going to have that release of all that energy that's built up in the gold to silver ratio, which is sitting still close to 90 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. Are you kidding me? No, thank you. I'll take the silver, but that's just my opinion. You do whatever you want. But when we get to $2,600 gold and all that energy that's stored up in that silver to gold ratio gets released, we're going to get a slingshot move. Let's get back to this article. One market analyst said that the one thing investors shouldn't do is chase the market at current levels. In an interview with Kitco News, Carly Garner, co-founder of the brokerage firm DeCarly Trading, well, she named it after herself, said that she expects investors to get another chance to take advantage of its new momentum. That would be gold's new momentum. Quote, the nice thing about breakouts is that they have a bit of retesting the breakout area. I think gold is going much higher. My weekly charts and monthly charts are telling me somewhere around $2,600 per ounce, maybe even a little more than that, she said. Quote, but at some point, we may retest 2,100, maybe even 2,050 per ounce, she added. Gold is really tough because of the way it trades. It will literally trade sideways for 4 years or down like we just did. And then when nobody's watching, Okay, let's talk about that because nobody is watching. Nobody's watching gold. Nobody's watching, even less, silver. Okay, so Carly, let's talk about that. Nobody cares. Well, the Chinese care, the world central banks care, right? We know that. We know gold, silver, the oldest forms of money. People have always cared. But right now in the West, nobody cares. You know what the great part about that is, my fellow basement dwellers, silver and gold enthusiasts? That when even just the smallest amount of increase of people caring in the West, a marginal increase, if you'd like to call it that, just a small marginal increase, will have a major impact on the silver price and gold price. We will get $65 silver, $85 silver. It will happen. It plays right into what Rick Rule said. Silver doesn't have to be loved for the price to go up significantly. It just needs to be just a little itsy bitsy bit less hated. All right, let's get back to DeCarly. Nobody's watching gold, right? It acts funny. It's traded sideways for 4 years. And when nobody's watching it and no one's expecting it, it rallies. Gold and silvers are the markets that invented the FOMO trade, the fear of missing out. Boy, wow, Susie, you hit the home run here. We got a lot to talk about in this article. Right, FOMO, fear of missing out. That means when something starts to take off, right? That kind of got started during all this GameStop craze. People just they don't even do any analysis. They just say, "Oh my God, gold stake." Those are the suckers. Those are when we want to start thinking about getting out of maybe converting a little bit of our silver and gold into something else, right? When all the ducks are quacking. That's what Ross Beatty says. The time to get out of gold and silver are when all the ducks are quacking, when everybody's talking, wow, silver and gold, oh my gosh, right? They're going crazy, right? When you go to Thanksgiving and nobody's talked about silver or gold for the last 15 years, and suddenly at Thanksgiving meal, people are talking about silver gold. That's when we want the FOMO trade, right? Because right now we know, and this was more the case 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? Nobody was buying silver. Premiums were down. Everything was down. It was the time to be buying because silver in particular, and this is an accepted fact in the retail silver investment area, and I believe it applies to gold now in the West as well, is when the price is down and premiums are down, nobody buys. People like to buy it when the price is skyrocketing and the premiums are skyrocketing. All right. Thank you, Susie, for sharing that with us. Hey, guys, speaking of which, if you want to get your hands on some silver, gold, or platinum before the potential FOMO kicks in, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying if you're out there looking around for some silver, gold, or platinum and looking for a good place to get it, do yourself a favor. There it is. Check out Pimbex. Pimbex. Pimbex.com. Online bullion dealer, where you'll find a great selection of silver, gold, and platinum, where you'll find silver, gold, and platinum at prices that you're going to find it very difficult to find any lower anywhere else. Another way to say that is you're very likely going to find the lowest prices at Pimbex. You're going to get the exact same metal, but you're going to get it at a better price. Look into it for yourself, right? Do some comparison shopping, right? The other big key component is whenever you buy bullion, you want to do it from a company you trust, right? I trust Pimbex. A lot of you trust Pimbex. I've gotten overwhelming positive feedback from the basement dweller community. I learned about Pimbex from the basement dweller community, and then I found out for myself. So I'm just telling you, if you're out there looking for bullion, at minimum, throw them into the mix, okay? I think you'll find what I found. Pimbex checks all the boxes, and they can help with IRA rollovers as well. Give them a call. Wow, we got a lot more to cover, guys. A lot more to cover. CPI. Let's talk about that. The big CPI report. Is it just me? It doesn't even matter anymore. I'm telling you, even this big Fed meeting next week, right? It's the big Fed meeting that can change the course of silver and gold, and nobody's expecting anything out of the big Fed meeting next week. The bottom line is The dollar is in trouble. That's the bottom line. Okay. The dollar is in trouble. The Fed is going to be, no matter how you slice it or dice it, right? Either they're going to throw us into a horrific depression, or the Fed has to print money. Those are the only two options, right? With the situation we're in right now, when we look at the U.S. debt clock, should we do our daily dose of the U.S. debt clock? Hold on, let's pull it up. What the heck? Okay, hold on here. See, this is how you do it, guys. You go to Google or Google, whichever you use, and type in U.S. debt clock. The U.S. debt clock. Let's make sure it's still going up. Hey, we're at 507 billion. I think yesterday we were at 501 or 2. Okay, so yes, the federal government, the Federal Reserve is going to be faced with no other option, but either they're going to crash everything and reset everything, or they're going to have to print money. And when they print money, right, the real value of the US dollar goes down. The real value, not the relative value, not the DXY value, right? Let's pull that up real quick. I want to show you something. Hold on here. Here we go. There we go. The real that's the DXY. This is what you'll get brainwashed into thinking is the value of the dollar. This is what, when they're on CNBC or they're on whatever, they're talking about. They're talking about the DXY index, and the dollar's been strong. So this is a chart of the dollar starting in 1985, the DXY index. I want to point something out to you that is critical when you look at this chart. Okay, when you look at this chart, 40 years, you can see the DXY index has gone from a range of, let's say, 120 all the way down to 80. Where we are right now, and I think we're around 103, 104, is his number one. Even if you're just looking at it from this BS cockamamie relative value of the DXY, the dollar is historically high. It's spent a majority of its time over the last 40 years below 100. Okay, I mean, it's only spent a little bit of time above 100, and that's a 40-year span. That's just in. So from that perspective, from this BS, CNBC, Yahoo Finance, the dollar's strong, the dollar's strong. We're due for a pullback, even in the way they measure the dollar. How do we measure the dollar? How about in real purchasing power? And this is going to knock your socks off, because if you look at this chart and you go back to 1985, 1987, 88, looks like to me somewhere in that range, the US dollar measured in the DXY, measured in the relative terms, was about as valuable as it is today, as measured by the DXY index. So my question would be, if the dollar is just as strong, was just as strong in 1988, 89, 90, whenever it hit the 103 range, think back to 1988, 1990. If you went to the grocery store with $100 back then, how much more would you leave with than you would today? That proves undeniably, guys, that this DXY index that they use to say, oh, this is how we measure, that's the measure of the dollar against a bunch of, it's like comparing the three best patients in a hospice ward. It's like comparing the three best horses in the glue factory. It's like comparing the three best cars at the scummiest used car lot that you can find in St. Louis. And I'll tell you, I live in St. Louis, and there's some scummy car lots. So what we're concerned about is real value of the dollar. And we know undeniably that's gone in the tubes. Since 1971, when President Nixon temporarily took us off the gold standard, you maybe were alive. I was 1 year old. I was ticked off, and I still am that he did it. Nonetheless, since 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, you know what? Let me tell you what, right? The dollar has lost 98% of its real value as measured against gold. Do you think that's going to change? Huh? Let me just show you real quick. Do you think that's going to change? No. Sorry, I get excited. No. Look, see. 34 trillion and growing. No, it can't change. It's, I'll tell you what it's like. It's like you're going in, if you're a silver and gold investor, here's a little story. Okay. You and me, we go to the county fair together. Okay. And we've got some silver and gold in our pockets, and we walk up and they got this great big fun house, and it's called the United States of America Economy, featuring DJ Jerome Powell. And we're like, hey, we should go into that fun house. I bet that's fun, right? Right. And we try to go into that fun house, but there's a metal detector at the door. And since you got a bunch of gold and silver in your pocket, and I got a couple coins too, they don't let us into the fun house. This is the fun house that you're looking at right now. They're like, sorry, you can't come in here if you have any metal on you, and we're not going to give up our silver and gold. So we go sit under a shade tree and we look at the fun house, and we're seeing all these people. They look half asleep, but they're going into the U.S. Economy Fun House, and DJ Jerome Powell's playing music, and he's got smoke machines and those funny mirrors and lasers and distractions, and everything's great in there, right? Everybody's, hello? Yeah. Which bell? Cowbell?
The regular bell.
Okay, I got to ring the bell. Sorry, guys. Hold on. That's for all the basement dwellers are here, an expression of my love. Anyway, we're having a lot of love. We're at the fun house. Sorry, I digress. We're at the fun house, right? We're under the shade tree. We got our silver and gold. Everybody's in that fun house partying, man. They had the S&P 500 room, the NVIDIA room. Jerome's playing the music, and they got the CNN room and the CNBC room, and everything's great until a fire breaks out and everybody tries to leave. There's one little door to get out. It says exit, silver, gold. They're all running for it, right? Somebody flips the lights on and realizes Jerome's a facade. The whole thing's a big joke. Anyway, I digress. That's what could happen. Again, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just telling you how I see it. You got a good head on your shoulders. I know that from dealing with you basement dwellers. Here's the thing. A lot of really smart people. We got a lot of doctors, lawyers, business owners, what else? Surgeons, architects, all kinds, like smart people. And then, look, I'm just me. So, you don't have to be one of those big professions to be smart, but we got a lot of those people in our community. It's very interesting. And a lot of people, some people with a lot of money, I hear too. So what we're talking about takes a little more intellectual horsepower than, no offense to like the other people that are asleep. So give yourself a little pat on the back, okay? Even Google and their analytics indicates that we have a very, let's say, sophisticated, and I think sophisticated from the perspective that we're people that like to think about things. Are you that way? I'm that way. I've always been that way. Deep thinker, want to analyze things, but we can't worry too much, buttercups, okay? That's why we're here. We support each other. We don't have to worry too much. I digress. Okay, that's the deal. It's all short-term noise at this point, right? It's all distractions. The Fed's coming out next week, be a big week. We'll talk about that more, but it's all in the long run. Even this inflation number that came out. Remember, in the long run, inflation devalues the dollar and is good for the price of silver and gold. And in the long run, right, the laws of Mother Nature always prevail. Sorry, I was getting a text there. I'm trying to thank you for being here, by the way. Again, please don't forget, thumbs up. All right, new piece of content every day if you subscribe, and thank you in advance for the super chats. Big Fed meeting. The Fed has left rates. That expectation, just so you know, for next week is that the Fed's not going to do anything. The big threat, are you ready for the big threat? The big scare is that they're going to say something, because that's all they do is say things anymore, because the Fed has become more of a public relations firm than a bank. And if we were still in the gold and silver standard in this country, we would be accomplishing much greater things right now as a country than we have since we've been on the unicorn fart dust, make-believe, paper, fiat, whatever you want to call it system, since Nixon took us off it in 1971. The greatest accomplishments of any civilization in this world have occurred when they were on a monetary system that was tethered, that was anchored by real money. Look it up, okay? Look it up. I was talking with Rob Keynes a couple of months ago, and I asked him, I said, Rob, is it true that the real greatness, if you really measure the real growth, the real greatness that happened in this country happened when we were on the gold and silver standard? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I got a section about it in my book. Okay. Big Fed meeting. All right. But the world knows what's going on. Don't forget. All right. We're focused a lot today on just the United States. Let's just not forget that the world, there's a whole other world out there outside of the United States of America. The BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates, and the whole world. On top of how screwed up everything is, like we already talked about, the whole world, just when the United States, just at the time when we need to borrow more money than any other time in history, the world is saying, no, thank you. Okay. It's going to have big implications, guys. It's going to have big implications. How can that not affect the value of the dollar? Think about it. When more than half of the world is starting to say, no, thanks, bye-bye, we're done with the games with the dollar, right? That's saying they don't value the dollar as much. That will devalue the dollar. When the dollar gets devalued, that makes the price of real assets as measured in dollars go up. Look, I could be wrong, but to me, that makes perfect sense. Andy Schechtman says you got to pick up the crumbs, right? You got to pick up the crumbs. Well, let's pick up some crumbs, right? To me, the evidence is overwhelming. You need to make your mind up for yourself, okay? All right. Eventually, the debt gets monetized. That's the way. We like it, right? I mean, unfortunately, you didn't decide it. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. I bet you're the same way. Do you do this strange thing in your life? I got a feeling a lot of you basement dwellers do. Are you part of this group or not part of this group? But let me just ask you this foreign concept. Do you actually spend less money every year than you bring in? Right? You bring in more, you earn more than you spend. I know it's getting more and more difficult because of Bidenomics, which is working. Don't forget, right? Since Biden's become president, I'm not a political show, but I'm just stating a fact. Bidenomics is working. Yeah, it worked to increase your cost of living by 20% since he became president. But you need to be happy about that. What's wrong with you? The economy's great. Just go get a third job, right? Right? Women all have to work now. You know, everything, right? Now women have got convinced that it's a good idea to work. It's not just good to have one job. You can have a couple jobs. Work 7 days a week. Bidenomics. It's working. Okay. Not a political show. All right. Oh, we're going to look at, you want some good. We talked about the crud at the beginning of the show. Silver and gold are in big trouble, right? Just listen, right? Yeah, barbarous relics. But let's talk about the good news. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to channel sponsor, First Mining Gold. I'm going to have Keith Neumeyer in the basement early April. It's on his schedule. We're going to be talking about First Mining Gold because he's the chairman of First Mining Gold. If you ever want information about the company, reach out to Paul Morris. He's their director of investor relations. He grew up in London, so he has a nice British accent. Send him an email. Okay, I'll put a link to his email in the description of below. And we already talked about Fortuna Silver, which is actually more of a gold mining company and expanding rapidly in West Africa. Let's get to the good news, guys. Let's get to the party time. Are you ready for good? I know you're ready for good news. This is going to be about silver and gold, and we got a lot going on. We even have some input from the smartest guy in the room, the smartest guy in the room. Okay, I got a new. We talk a lot about this. Hold on here. There it is. Let me get rid of me. Who wants to look at me? How do I do that? There we go. The cup in handle, right? You've seen this a zillion times, okay? In August of 2011, gold hit 2,000. In August of 2020, gold hit 2,000. We have broke out on the cup and handle in gold. Now, I want to show you an article. Hold on here. Uh-oh. Let me find it. Okay. Here we go. This is Copilot, right? Microsoft now, like the leader in artificial intelligence. This came from our friend Sean R. A regular here now in the basement. Looks like he needs to charge his phone. He's at 19%. But anyway, Copilot says this about the cup and handle. There appears to be a cup and handle formation in the gold market. This pattern is considered super bullish and suggests that the price of gold could see a significant increase. The handle part of the pattern has been forming over the past few years, indicating a consolidation phase above a key retracement level. Blah, 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 blah. This pattern is nearly complete, with the cup spanning 9 years, right? 9 years. We're going to go back and see that real quick. And the handle nearing 3.5 years in length. This, I can't read that. It says, okay, this long-term formation points to a strong bullish sentiment in the gold market. So let's go back here. There's gold, right? 9 years, right? Like they said, that's the cup. I don't know. Can you, hey, Sue, hold on a second. I need to ask Susie something. Hey, Susie, over.
Yes, dear.
Can you see the cup and handle on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Can you see my orange cursor on the screen? Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. We're working our way through this new software, so you can't see it. But if you look at August of 2011 on the screen, right, and then August of 2020, see how the price went down? It's a cup, and then there's the handle, 3.5 years, the most powerful. But let's take a quick look at silver as well. Okay, because when we look at silver, it's even longer. Okay, 1980 through 2011. What is that? 33 years to build the cup, right? You see the big dip? That's the cup. And then from 2011 through now, but this is crazy because here's an article from a chart from 3 years ago. Okay, right? Yes, this is the silver cup and handle. This is from 3 years ago. All right. So if you look, now that shows you the cup. That's a different way to look at it. And this comes from, it says on there somewhere, Kimball Charting Solutions. But look at that cup. I mean, that is massive in silver, right? Really crazy. And then this is 2018. This, I don't know if you can see this, the silver price at that point was like $17 an ounce. We've begun to break out, right? That is good news. Let's see what the let's go see what the the biggest brain in the world is saying about the silver cup and handle. Yes, there's a potential cup and handle pattern forming in the silver market. And this pattern is considered a bullish indicator and suggests that if silver breaks out from the handle formation, it could send a strong, hold on a second here. Why can't I see this? Send a strong bullish price message. The pattern has been developing over a long period, which adds to its significance. All right, guys, that's the big deal. It's been forming over a long period of time, which adds to its significance. All right, let's go back to me. Hold on. Make sure we covered all this. Silver. Yes.
In a bit, you should pull up Pindex.
Yeah, Susie has a great idea, guys. Let's go to Pimbex and see. Let's do a live update. Live update, silver and gold investors. We're going to go to Pimbex here in a second and do a live update. I want to make sure I covered all this. Copilot. Oh, there's the wedgie. Let's talk about the wedgie. And then we're going to go get an update, a live update on the silver and gold price. But right now, we are still in a wedgie. I don't think you guys can see it, but there's a picture of some tidy whities on the bottom. Remember wedgies when you were a kid? You would give your buddies wedgies. Well, that's about what's going to happen to silver, and it's going to send it jumping, okay? Because this goes back to what is that? March of last year through now. And it appears that we are beginning to break out of the wedgie. All right. And there's a lot of different wedge for silver, a lot of different, even we've got a couple other ones we looked at that go back 3 years. See how that's like it forms a compressing, that's the silver price over the last year. And when it breaks out of the wedge, that can feed the cup and handle. When that cup and handle, by the way, last time, I'm going to pull that up. Hold on here. Now, head and shoulders, we'll save that for another day. When silver breaks up above 50, right? The wedge could be what is the catalyst for that. And then from there, the cup and handle could push silver. That's when people are saying triple digit silver. It could be absolutely crazy. All right, let's go back here. All right, there we are. And I want to we're going to go check on the silver and gold price. So here's how you get to Pimbex's website. You go to Google, whatever you use, and you type in, oh, look, I already have it. Must be listening to me. Pimbex. Let's see what the gold price. Come on, gold. Come on, baby. Oh my gosh, guys, we're up $13 an ounce. That is, silver's up 62. What? Oh, platinum's up 12. I know Neil's happy about that. And palladium up 25 bucks an ounce. Wow, that is awesome. Hey, let's see. They got 2023 Liberty. I'm going to go back to that. Hold on here. I don't own any of those. Those are Mexican silver coins. Royal Canadian Mint gold coins. Stacked to the sky. Silver coins and bars available. Let's just go look. Tell you what I've been really digging lately are the 2023. They may be sold out. No, they got them. Here they got them. I bought some of these. Wow. I know it's like silver's going up. Anyway, I like this coin, and I'll tell you why. Because I like to buy the stuff that a lot of other people don't like. And I think that this coin, see that? That was like, don't quote me on this, but I think it's the first time that King Charles was on the back of the coin. And everybody kind of missed the Queen. I feel sorry for Charles because he's getting, but I bought some. I thought, you know what? At some point, I bet 30, 40. I buy silver as a generational investment. So I think about my grandkids, my great grandkids, looking and that those coins could be worth a lot more at that point. So anyway, there's Pimbex, Pimbex. I love Mike and Brian. I feel so grateful that they sponsor my channel because I can feel 100% good about telling people, hey, go check out Pimbex. I always want you to do your own work, and I don't give financial advice, but I feel always wonderful when I talk about Pimbex. Genuine. Let's talk about silver. Silvershire sent me this not too long ago. This guy's gonna be kind of hard to see, right? That's $1.40 of constitutional silver. I don't know about you. Like I keep a little bit of silver here at the house, and I just like to have a little bit around. I just love the fact that this $1.40. I wonder if there's another way I could display here. Maybe I can use my tobacco. No, that won't work. Well, anyway, I'll figure out a better way to show you guys this stuff. Well, that's pretty good, right? That's an ounce of silver. Listen to that. Okay. I mean, all this different. So let's just go through a couple types real quick. That's constitutional silver. Okay. This is, just absolutely stunning. These are absolutely beautiful, stunning coins. I want to get it in focus. There we go. Man, look at that. American Silver Eagle. I mean, I never bought a lot of them because the premiums were always higher, but I bought some recently. I mean, they are just absolutely stunning coins. So that's a sovereign mint coin. You know this already, but we'll go through it. Here, this is from Silvershire. I love the Indian coin. I mean, look at that, right? Jake from Jake's Custom Parts brought that by just about a week ago when he visited. It was a gift from Silvershire. And Jake gave me the American Silver Eagle. I mean, look, who can't love this stuff? Look at this, right? You can buy, it's incredible. These are guys, these are 100-year-old silver dollars. Really? Listen. Okay. I don't want to bang them. They're in good shape. These are peace dollars, right? So that's constitutional, 90% as well. You know, look at this. Let me show you this. I love these. These are half-ounce Royal Canadian Mint, right? And this has the Queen on the other side. I think these are like 10 years old. I mean, who doesn't? I can't get that to focus. Silver really messes with cameras because it's so reflective. And of course, for fun, a year and a half ago, I bought this for Susie for Valentine's Day, a silver heart, 3 ounces. That was from Bison Mint. I don't know why I'm showing you guys silver, but what the heck, huh? How's everybody doing today? Thank you for being here in the basement, right? It is going to be a major week as we head through. I think it's Wednesday of next week when we hear from the Fed. I can't believe gold is up $13 right now per ounce. It's absolutely crazy. Let's go here. Hold on. I'm going to see what I have. I would have swore I put another chart in here. Oh, this one. Here we go. Okay. So there's Argentina. Hi, guys. Bear with me. There's Argentina. Argentina's big in the news lately, right? Everybody's talking about Argentina. In 2013, an ounce of silver would cost you 122 pesos in Argentina. It got as high as 8,700 pesos. This was back in November of 2023. Okay, because you know they've had financial troubles in Argentina. Similar, will this happen in the United States? That's the question. Similar. Let's just go look real quick. I'm curious what the current silver price is in Argentina, because I bet it's even higher than when we put that chart together. Okay, I'll ring the cowbell here in just 1 second. Silver price. Hold on, guys. Uh-oh. Hold on here. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. Okay. Argentina silver. Argentina. Why is that? Oh, images. Why is that not? Hold on. Okay. Wow. 19,000. Almost 20,000. Whoa. That's like a, what, 200? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy what has gone on in Argentina with the price of silver. But it's the price of everything because the government spent too much money. The government spent way more. They ran big deficits. Okay. Can it happen in the United States? Everybody likes to think, no, everything's fine, right? Everything's great. Could never happen in the United States. We're the world power. Granted, our economy is much larger than what we have in Argentina. But I would argue that the same laws of mathematics that apply in Argentina apply in the United States. Maybe we can delay the inevitable a little bit longer, but we are subject to the same mathematic laws that Argentina is. And when we look at what happened in Turkey, Argentina, Venezuela, a lot of these countries, okay, and just because and it's hard, is it hard for you to imagine that it could happen here? Right. And I don't want it to happen. I hope it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen next month or this year, but it sure feels like it you know what I'm talking about is going to happen. Like it's an inevitability. And we look at the debt clock and $34.5 trillion, and we look at all these other factors involved, but we think, well, it didn't happen yesterday or the day before. It's not happening today, right now. Well, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, because we know, looking at history, financial turmoil, great financial crisis, tech bubble burst, and if we zoom out a little further, these things do happen. That's why what do you do to protect yourself? Look, we are 1 in 100 people. We are the lone wolves. Okay. We choose to protect ourselves, our families, with things like silver and gold. Right? We know, right? We've done the research. We've done the hard work. We're willing to look at the reality of what's going on, not be half asleep. That's what we choose to do. Hey guys, so looks like a good day for gold so far. Very grateful for that. This could get super exciting as we go through the rest of this year for the gold price, but in particular for the silver price. Bald Guy Money said it. A number of these analysts said it. I'm saying, what do you think? Are we building? Look, a month ago, we were talking about building a base above $2,000. Are we right now building a new base in the gold price above $2,100? I'll say that. Or do you think we're building a base above 2,150? I'm going to say 2,100. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'd be curious what you guys think. Or do you think we'll test 2,000? Do you think we will see a gold price again this year that starts with the number 1? And the next number after that one is 9, like 1,930, 1,950. What do you think? I'm just curious. Ricky says a crap. Hey, old dirty bastard garage is here. ODBG. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I got a lot going on now with this new platform, trying to feel my way through it. If I ever forget this, I want the moderators to know. Annie Oakley, thank you for being here. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts. All of our regular contributors who are here. Metal Seer, I see Metal Seer, my friend. Okay. Neil from Neil Hans Dynasty is here. David Metcalf. But for the moderators, thank you. I always want to type 88888 for those that moderate, because those that moderate are great. Thank you for being here. Okay. I saw a quote in there. Somebody said, I would never borrow money to buy silver. Should you borrow money? Should you buy silver and run up credit card debts? Look, I don't give financial advice, but I say no. I'll give that financial advice. Don't take out money on a credit card to buy silver, because the interest rate on a credit card is variable. So even if the currency were to collapse, if it were to happen, right, that rate on that credit card could get adjusted higher and higher and higher. Thank you, Neil, for the super chat. Wow, super appreciated. Super appreciated. And then what you decide, how much silver you decide to buy, is up to you, right? I always, me personally, will only buy silver with money that I hope I will never need to touch, because I really want it to be a generational investment for children, grandchildren, but at the same time, if we get into this a hyper bubble for silver, and guys, I know it's hard for us to imagine, but it could happen, right? I would consider converting some. Thank you guys for being here. It's always awesome when you join me in the basement. I'll look forward to seeing you again. On behalf of Susie and myself, we hope you have a great, great day. Be nice to yourself. I'll be nice to myself. You be nice to yourself as well, guys, because you know what? That's a good place to start. It's a heck of a lot easier for me to be nice to Susie and those around me if I start out being nice to myself, and you deserve it. Okay. Thank you. And I'll see you soon.